Hey, I'm Owen from Bite Size Irish Gaelic, and I want to tell you about a tool I've learned about called WOOP. So let's WOOP your Irish language. So people tell me how important it's for them to learn the Irish language. It's to make a real connection with their heritage, find a sense of Irishness. Not just that, it's finding a sense of belonging. But what's stopping you? That's the thing. So there's so many reasons that we hear at Bite Size Irish Gaelic for people who basically don't achieve what they want to achieve. They want to learn, but they don't manage to. Does that sound familiar? So you might tell yourself you're too old. You might tell yourself you're not good enough. You don't have the time to learn a language. What's stopping you? What's making you think that you can't achieve just spending 5 minutes a day on learning the Irish language, on making that real connection with your Irish heritage? So it's this method called WOOP. It's from Gabriella Oettingen, and she's a professor of psychology at NYU. And what WOOP is a practical, science-based mental strategy for visualizing your wishes, what you want to achieve, but then you turn inwards and you ask yourself, what's inside of me that's blocking me from achieving what I want to achieve? And by doing this mental contrasting, as I think they call it, you're first visualizing what you do want to achieve, but then you put yourself up against what's stopping you from achieving that. So it's not just wishful thinking. It's not just setting these wishful goals that are bigger than you could ever achieve. It's picking realistic goals that you think you can achieve. It's stretching you, and not just that, but it's setting out a plan to deal with those inner blocks that are stopping you from achieving that goal. So why am I saying this? Why am I telling you about WOOP? I think it's fantastic. I've tried it myself. They say to WOOP when you're feeling stuck, WOOP when you want to plan a goal a bit better, when you want to make it more concrete, WOOP when you've been failing from achieving a goal. So what I want to do is help you learn the Irish language, make it part of your everyday life. My goal is not to make you fluent in the Irish language. My goal is to help you achieve what you want to achieve with the Irish language. So Bite Size Irish Gaelic, we're not affiliated with Professor Oettingen. It's just a method that I've read about that I find is very practical and very useful. So we'll go through the 4 steps. So step 1 is, what's your wish? You ask yourself, what's the best thing, the loveliest thing that I'd like to achieve? And in this case we're talking about somehow in the realm of learning the Irish language. Now part of this, like I mentioned, you should set something, pick a wish that you think is achievable, but it's nice and stretchy. So it's pushing you from your current situation, but you have to believe inside that, yeah, it is something that you can achieve. Now, about your wish, time frame is important, and for me, I think the smaller time frame is actually more practical, more realistic, and it makes you really focus in on what you need to do. So this all comes down to taking action in the end. Achieving your goals always comes down to taking action, taking the next step. So I've experimented like having like do WOOP on a 3-year time basis, on a 1-week time basis. I think maybe a month is something nice, because it feels like a big enough time. Like a month, that's quite a lot of time already, but it's not big like 3 years away. So that's step 1. Step 2, what do you do? So you visualize again, but this is the outcome. What if you achieved your wish? So okay, you want to be able to say a certain expression or have a certain type of simple conversation in a month's time. Is that maybe stretching it too much? Maybe. So you have to visualize your outcome. What will it feel like? What will it let you do? What will you do? Will you like speak Irish to some classmates? Will you speak Irish to your dog, as many of us do? Will you be able to share this Irish language achievement with people online? So what realistically will your life look like once you've achieved this wish? And the thing about WOOP is you should give yourself a bit of time, just a little space to think. So set aside like 10-15 minutes to really think deeply about this. I don't think it's good enough to just like write down 3 words and just move on to the next step. You should really dig down and think deeply about this. So step 3, this is the tough bit, I think. It's about identifying your inner obstacle. So what is it within you that's stopping you from achieving your goals? So the important thing about this, what I understand from the method, right? I'm no psychologist, so please don't take me as one. What I take from this method is that you have to basically take responsibility for the goal you're trying to achieve and seeing what's blocking you. What are you blocking yourself with from achieving that goal? So okay, let's say you start with the idea that your obstacle is you don't have enough time. Okay, you have a job, let's say. You work 45 hours a week. Okay, what's within you that's stopping from achieving your wish? Your job is not within you. That's not an internal obstacle. So you have to think more deeply. Is it some kind of blocking self-belief? Now this is where it comes down to, oh, I'm not good enough, I'm too old, oh, I can't manage this, I'll never be able to learn this concept. I'm not a languages person. Like, what's actually stopping you in real life from achieving your wish? Is it something you're telling yourself? Or is it like a behavior? Is it like you're just about to learn some Irish and then you turn to Facebook instead because, yeah, it's more comforting to do that than to actually try to achieve something in your life? That's the tough thing about life. You have to put in energy if you want to achieve something. That is the tough thing about it. So keep digging deeply. I was listening to a podcast interview with Professor Uttingen, and it was very interesting. She went through the example of WOOP with the podcast interviewer, and it was interesting. This step was interesting, how she kept digging. The guy was saying, yeah, my obstacle is I don't get around to it, and she kept asking me, okay, why? What do you think is stopping you? Is it that you think, oh, if I don't do this thing, I won't shame myself, or what is it? So you have to really dig deeply. And step 4 is to make a plan. So you've identified your wish, you know what you want to achieve, and then you've identified in step 3 the obstacle. What's inside you that's stopping you from achieving this Irish language goal you have for a certain time frame, right? So step 4 is to make a plan by saying, if the obstacle happens, then I'll do something specific to overcome this obstacle. So this comes down to action, right? And it can be, the action can be like to tell yourself something, like to dispel your false, illogical, self-limiting belief. But I think action is good, not just mentally. So I think you could say, if I feel like I'm overwhelmed, like I can't learn this certain thing, then what's your strategy? Like maybe you'll turn on the Irish language radio na Gaeltachta, and not give up on learning the thing that you're trying to give up, but still make some kind of inroads by immersing yourself in the language. I think that's a fair enough plan, because at least you're still on track. You're still making the language part of your everyday, and for me that's the important thing. It's all a journey. It's very hard to achieve fluency in a language, and I've only come across really a handful of people who've managed to do that. But there's so many more people who enjoy making the Irish language and the culture and their heritage part of their everyday life. And when you do that, I think you're already winning. So just to cover again the source of this method, WOOP, so it stands for wish, outcome, obstacle and plan, WOOP. And you can go to woopmylife.org. We're not affiliated, it's just a method that I've come across that I find very useful for achieving goals in life. So why should you WOOP your Irish language? This method is based on 20 years of research. It's scientifically proven, and it's to stop you from putting up those inner obstacles from actually progressing and achieving those goals that you want to achieve. When should you whoop? You should whoop now. And you should whoop as often as you feel like it, as often as you feel a bit stuck. So let's just say once a week is a fantastic kind of rhythm to whoop. So you could say, okay, instead of the next month, what in the next week do I want to achieve? What's within me that's holding me back, my obstacle from achieving that outcome that I want to achieve? And how do you whoop your Irish language? Well, at Bite Size Irish Gaelic, we've got a resource. It's a guided form. So what we've done is we've set up the 4 steps and guided the form so that you fill in step 1, fill in step 2, fill in step 3, and fill in step 4. And then you'll get an email from Bite Size Irish Gaelic. If we can help you, we'll send you a human email, a reply, if we can, to help you with your motivation, help you achieve your outcome. At least say, yeah, well done on trying to overcome this inner obstacle that you have. So that's a free tool we have at Bite Size Irish Gaelic. So under this video or after this video, you'll see a link for a form to fill, and that's how you whoop your Irish language. So I invite you to do that now. Give yourself, let's say, 10 minutes of peace. Do nothing else and just concentrate on whooping your Irish language. Then come back to it in a week's time and see what you have achieved compared to if you had never done this mental contrasting. Now, I'd like you to share this method as well with your friends, because let's say if you're in a class learning the Irish language, isn't WOOP such a fantastic method to share with your classmates who are also feeling a bit stuck in learning the Irish language? I don't think we put enough emphasis, we don't have enough tools to help us get over these self-limiting beliefs. I think it's very easy to go to class or just learn on your own and you basically blame yourself. Like you say, I'm not good enough, this is my fault, oh, I should have given this an hour during my Sunday to learn, it's all my fault. Well, maybe it's not your fault, and maybe you need a tool like this to help you through those feelings, those times when you feel stuck. So whoop your Irish language now and whoop it when you do feel stuck. Please do share it with others, and I hope you really enjoy it. Thanks for watching. Slán!